Chicago, man.
Again, utterly disappointed that you both were in Chicago. Neither had a beef dip, a Chicago-style hot dog, a tavern-style Chicago pizza, a Chicago deep dish pizza.
Whoa. So here's the deal. I flew in. I got in at like 1:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I worked the whole next day.
Mm-hmm.
We went to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I worked the next day. I flew out at like 5 p.m. So I just didn't have exploring time. But my dad and I went like 15 years ago.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Instagram and Threads at Namely 90s, although Threads is more complicated than that. You can also find this show on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And if you'd like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/namely90s and sign up for one of our support levels. Alrighty. It's time for episode 171.
171 of 200 and
regular programming, I should
that's
say.
A spider coming right off my...
Nope. Hate
Sorry. It's a small one that I just killed and then wiped off on myself.
The mother is coming for revenge, so don't worry.
Most likely. I don't know, because this corner gets a lot of spiders for some reason. Because it's right next to my door.
Well, I'm in a shed right now. I'm in a garden shed, so I'm probably just surrounded by spiders.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're like huge, it doesn't really bother me anymore. Are we just gonna have a terrible intro like last week as well?
Was last week terrible?
We didn't do well, I would say, because both of us had we were both brain dead last week when we recorded. And
I don't listen to the show, so
you listen to it more often than I do.
Sure.
Thank you, listeners, for listening to Namely 90s. Although I guess I do listen to the edit, but I just remember thinking when we were doing the intro last week, I'm like, this is terrible. Why do people listen to us? Thank you for listening.
It's not. Listen, not every week is just we don't knock it out of the park every week. We don't knock it out of the park ever.
I think we've done some great episodes, especially in season 2. We've done some really cool deep dives. Your Denzel one ?
That was so obviously thrown together.
Okay, your one about tubes.
Okay, well, the internet is a series of tubes. Let's ask Mitch McConnell what he thinks.
And then he just has a stroke live on camera.
Were supposed to go with dead air. There he is.
Damn it.
You need to cut that out. It's not funny to joke.
About strokes?
No, really not. I know he announced that he's going to run again, and I was speechless. Hey, there it is. He needs to retire.
Everyone needs to retire. Biden needs to retire. McConnell needs to retire.
Nancy Pelosi
Trump
is 875 years old. She's the Highlander. What? You know what I mean?
Lauren Boebert should just go back to getting thrown out of
Airplanes?
Beetlejuice plays.
Oh, okay.
No, she got thrown out of a stage play of Beetlejuice yesterday or the day before.
I would want to be kicked out of that.
Apparently she was vaping and singing over the cast as they were watching, and this isn't Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is a stage performance musical thing going on. It's okay.
Classy,
cool lady.
Classy.
Yep. Speaking of classy, we didn't decide if we were going to save this for boot or reboot or not, but they just dropped the full trailer for the Frasier reboot coming out next month.
And it looks serviceable,
I agree, but I also don't agree. Like, it doesn't look... I mean, it's not what it was, obviously. For obvious reasons, it can't be what it was. But, like, having Frasier being the old guy trying to pal it up with his son, that's cliche and tired, I want to say.
Like me.
Yeah.
I think they should have kept it in Seattle.
I agree. I think he should have gone back to Seattle.
Because it's like a unique... Okay, not many sitcoms are based in Seattle.
Correct.
Dramas, well, Grey's Anatomy is pretty much the only one.
It should have been the south side of Chicago.
It really doesn't matter. It's just LA. You just take a couple of establishing shots of the Space Needle and green screen behind the windows.
True.
But I just feel like it was a unique piece of the show. Not that I don't think they ever like really talked much about Seattle specific landmarks or geography. But
I mean, like, they met in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Those friends.
And so they're back in Boston, which is where Cheers was.
Yes, but he's not drinking at Cheers. Which, if you're in Boston,
it could have been Des Moines, Iowa. Like,
yeah, well, because at the end of the Frasier series, the original Frasier series, which ran for 11 seasons, he was flying to chase after a woman in Chicago. And that is all we know until the new reboot comes out.
He's touring America to toss salads and scramble eggs.
Yes. And they're calling the reboot Frasier, which is the name of the original series. So that'll get confusing. So it's like Frasier Seattle and Frasier Boston.
How about Frasier or Frasierist? And they do the third one.
It is
the jokes are on point tonight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Kelsey Grammer thinks that it's like, you know, it's the third act of Frasier, and it'll make him, he's aged and he's coming to a close, and it's just like,
is he on the radio in Boston?
No,
at least
I think he's becoming.
It's not Seattle, and he's not on the radio. So they've kept nothing from the original show except the actor.
Correct, but I mean, if you look at his character in Cheers, they kept nothing from that and then made it into Frasier too.
Wait, so he just like moved to Seattle as a nobody and just became a radio host?
Pretty much. Well, yeah, he was a psychiatrist. He is a psychiatrist. So I told you like earlier this week or last week, I might just watch all of Cheers and all of Frasier to prepare for this Frasier reboot. So I've made it to the middle of season 3, and season 3 is when Frasier's introduced, because Diane and Sam break up at the end of season 2, and she goes insane, goes to a loony bin, which is not the correct way to say it these days. I'm just sorry. I've been just swamped in 80s terminology for the week. Anyway, she checks herself into a mental hospital,
mental health support facility. I don't know.
Thank you. Something along those lines. And he's working there as a psychiatrist, but she's not his patient. He just runs into her on the lawn when she's about to hit an old lady with a croquet mallet, as you do in sitcoms. And they start dating, and then he becomes like a regular at Cheers because he's dating her. And then eventually they break up because they're about to get married, and she leaves him at the altar. And then I think leaves the show forever, or gets eaten by Kirstie Alley.
Well, you know, the good news is that you don't need credentials to be on the radio.
Where was I? Oh, sorry, thank you. Sorry. He was just a psychiatrist then.
Oh, Delilah.
And then he becomes a radio host and psychiatrist when he moves to Seattle. And then in this one, he's gotten a teaching job where his son's going to school in Boston.
I feel like he's a like Dr. Drew, you know?
Kind of, yeah. Pretty much. Well, I don't think Dr. Drew's teaching any lectures.
And I'm pretty sure
university.
technically Loveline started in like 1984, about the same time as Frasier. I didn't realize this. John Lithgow was originally chosen by Cheers producers for the role.
Yes. John Lithgow, but he turned it down for some reason. And then they really like Kelsey Grammer, but he was only supposed to be there for the first 6 episodes of season 3, I think. But they liked him so much they kept him on.
What if they cast Kelsey Grammer as Dick Solomon in Third Rock from the Sun?
That would have been... I think that still would have been a good show. I don't know if it's the same comedic chops, though. Speaking of which, Frasier starts in Cheers in 1984, so Kelsey Grammer's been playing this character longer than we've been alive.
It says he was a psychiatrist from 1983 to 1993, and a radio host and psychotherapist from 1993 to 2004.
Yes.
So he just isn't a doctor anymore. Like a psychotherapist typically isn't a medical doctor, which a psychiatrist is.
But he still says he's Dr. Frasier Crane.
Well, you can be a doctor of psychology, but that's not a medical doctor. They can't prescribe.
Oh, right.
So I don't know. It's confusing. Anyway, who cares?
Either way, he's going to be a professor at the college that his son's at. His son, Freddie, who should be 35. Like he should be our age.
Yeah, I mean, he could legitimately he has the credentials to be a professor, so that's cool.
I guess, but also Freddie at this point should have the credentials to be a professor if he's our age.
But Freddie needs a nanny. Okay, let's move on. It's been 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I said Freddie needs a nanny.
Early enough.
I think it's been about 10 minutes.
Okay. Welcome to this month's edition of 90s News You Can Use. And I'm gonna make Andrew start as usual when he's ready. And is this
really the headline?
Yep. Unless you don't want to say it. Hello, everyone.
Okay. You're listening to 90s News You Can Use. Come get COVID while not saying gay at 90s Con.
Yay.
The 90s are returning in. Oh, sorry.
No, I wrote that wrong.
The 90s are returning in convention format in Tampa, Florida over the weekend with the raddest celebration this side of the millennium. In attendance were the majority of the cast of Boy Meets World, the cast of Halloween Town, the cast of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, 4 out of 5 of the Backstreet Boys, the cast of Family Matters prior to Urkel, the 3 Saved by the Bell cast members that returned full-time for the reboot, 2/3 of TLC, the 90s cast of Fuller House, a majority of the Beverly Hills 90210 cast, and three-quarters of the Charm Sisters, Danica McKellar from The Wonder Years, and the voice of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Darkwing Duck, Pete from Goofy, and the Goofy Movie. That's,
Yeah, I wrote that word. Sorry. I didn't proof this.
Not James Marsden, but Josh? No.
You're thinking of, that's the guy who played Max.
Okay, yeah.
James Marsden?
And if you managed to miss the has-beens, 90s Con will return next year in Connecticut, and don't miss their sister convention, Christmas Con in New Jersey, surprisingly featuring most of the same actresses as 90s Con.
No, James Marsden was the guy in the Sonic movies.
I know, but there's another guy that has a similar name that like voice
of Max Goofy. It is, we were trying to get him on the show. I might just be totally
wrong.
Jason
Marsden. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I knew you were right about that. I just couldn't remember his name. Shout out to Jason Marsden, who we never asked to be on the show.
Yes.
But should have.
And shout out to James Marsden for being hilarious in that show, Jury Duty, which I recommend.
Because Halloween, the podcast of horror is coming up in a month's time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to decide on what we're doing.
Yes,
for that
we
one.
do.
Anyway, the public tells NSYNC, I want you back for the VMAs. Not to be outdone by 4/5 of the Backstreet Boys, all 5 of NSYNC showed up at the VMAs last Tuesday night to award the award for Best Pop to Taylor Swift. This marks the first time they've been together at the VMAs since 2013 when Justin Timberlake won the Video Vanguard Award. The quintet had reunited in 2018 to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, because music is also Hollywood, ? And in 2019, when 4/5 of them sang backup for Ariana Grande at Coachella. Can you guess which one wasn't there?
Justin Timberlake.
There you go.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, I was going to read the next one. So
it's just like boy band, 90s boy band heaven right now. Next up, let's see Nick Lachey in 98 Degrees tell Jessica Simpson tuna fish is not chicken.
Okay.
Chicken of the sea. Is it chicken or is it tuna?
It's definitely, I think it's just as ubiquitous. I don't know. Danny Masterson to hide his face for the next. I just can't read. Danny Masterson to hide his face for 30 years to life.
To be fair, I've been leaving typos in yours on accident, so.
Trigger warning. The R word, but not the other R word that you're thinking. Danny Masterson, best known for playing Hyde on That 70s Show and a role on Netflix's The Ranch, has been convicted on 2 of 3 counts of rape occurring in the early 2000s and was sentenced to 30 years to life. Allegedly leading up to the trial of...
That one's on me.
Allegedly leading up to the trial, the Church of Scientology attempted to silence the accusers, even poisoned their animals. During the sentencing deliberations, some of his former castmates sent letters of character into the judge in an attempt to keep the sentencing on the lighter side. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher caught some flack for doing so and had to reassure their followers they always support victims. Deborah Jo Rupp and Kurtwood Smith also submitted letters, and Wilmer Valderrama's assistant, because he's too busy with Gary Cole from Office Space on NCIS.
Well, apparently Wilmer Valderrama was also like a sex pest and
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, sorry. I will proofread this next time we do this segment.
Turns out I can read.
Yes, this is not Andrew's. Most of these are not Andrew's fault. I did not spell check or proofread any
Ashton
of
Kutcher
these news. Yeah, Kutcher. I didn't bother to look up how to spell Wilmer Valderrama. The world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer returns in a new audio drama. Slayers, a Buffyverse story, is bringing back some of the original cast of Buffy, co-written and co-directed by Amber Benson, who played Tara in the original series, and returns in the audio drama. James Marsters, who played Spike, Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia Chase, Emma Caulfield, who played Anya, Juliette Landau, who played Drusilla, James Charles Leary, who played Clem, and Danny Strong, who played Jonathan, are all returning as well. The story will be set 10 years after the series finale and revolve around Spike being recruited by an alternate reality Cordelia, who is the Slayer in her universe, to stop a big bad who happens to be Spike's sire and former lover, Drusilla. Slayers, a Buffyverse story, will premiere October 12th on Audible.
It's too bad we'll miss Anthony Head.
No Anthony Stewart Head, no Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's said on record that she doesn't see herself going back to playing Buffy anytime ever. I'm sure in like 20 more years there'll be like a Buffy reboot where she's 60 years old and like back in my day. Because 60 is old in Hollywood. And no Willow either. Actually, the core 3 characters or the core 4 characters aren't returning.
Perfect.
Yes, because the guy was a sex pest. Not a joke. Billy's achy.
Joss Whedon or
that too.
The other guy.
The guy that played Xander.
Why are they all gross?
I don't want to slander him. Is that the
Xander? Him?
Yes. But I remember he came out in support of Joss Whedon, and I don't remember the other reason why people were like, ugh.
I've just always been annoyed that Joss's name is not Josh.
Yes.
I don't think Joss is a name. Send those hate tweets to at I don't think I have Twitter anymore, or X. Billy's achy breaky heart creates family drama during ex-wife's wedding. At the end of last month, Tish Cyrus, ex-wife of Billy Ray Cyrus, got married to Prison Break and Legends of Tomorrow star Dominic Purcell, which apparently caused controversy among Cyrus children, with Miley attending the wedding as maid of honor, but younger sister Noah Cyrus posted stories about flying out to LA, only to post stories about visiting their brother.
That's spelled correct.
Brayson, and going to Walmart and having a sleepover, clearly avoiding Tish's wedding. Noah was also wearing a shirt of her father, Billy Ray, at the time. Tish's children from her last marriage, who were adopted by her second husband, Billy Ray, were also in attendance at the wedding. By the way, Tish divorced from Billy Ray last year in April, the year in which Billy Ray Cyrus got engaged to someone named Fire Rose that September, who is an Australian singer who is the same age as Noah Cyrus, 23, and originally met Billy Ray on the set of Hannah Montana 10 years prior. Billy Ray is currently 61 years old. Yuck.
Any comments on that?
Ew. First of all, and also Noah Cyrus performed in Snohomish recently.
What venue is in Snohomish? Like the Snohomish County Fair?
Like the Snohomish Street Fair or something. I don't know.
That must have been exciting for the people of Snohomish, with their tendency to run out all of them BLM Antifa people by driving down Main Street, honking their horns and brandishing guns.
True.
That was a real thing that happened in 2020. Finally, Billy Cranston returns to Power Rangers in a Cosmic Fury. In a season that is setting new grounds for the 30-year-old franchise by establishing the first permanent female Red Ranger, they're also regressing, or as some would claim, celebrating the franchise's history by bringing back David Yost to play Billy Cranston as a mentor/supporting role of the Ranger, or as the Ranger team faces off against Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain Lord Zed. Yost returned earlier this year as Billy in the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger reunion special Once and Always, and probably gave the best performance of the returning stars. Cosmic Fury is set to release on Netflix. On Netflix on September 29th.
For the longest time, I thought that said Bryan Cranston, which is funny because he actually was in Power Rangers at some time as
he voiced like
some evil guy.
Well, no, he voiced
that weird head.
Well, so in the 2017 movie, 2016 Power Rangers movie, he was Zordon. That was Bryan Cranston. And then, but in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he voiced at least, I think, like 6 different villains.
Wow.
Most notably was the pighead guy.
I just started watching that drama Your Honor with him in it, and it's really intense. It's good. It's intense. The sun is annoying.
So it's Breaking Bad?
Yeah, but you're not allowed to be annoyed by the sun in Breaking Bad.
True. And that's 90s news you can use for September of 2023. Send us your 90s related articles to our Instagram at namely90s with 90s, or find us on some other platform that possibly you could reach us by tweeting, but also, is it Xting? Are you Xting us?
And now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute. I didn't know what to say.
Welcome back to Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Expendables 4, Expendables, and all the action stars in it, including Dolph Lundgren, we're looking back at a cult classic, Showdown in Little Tokyo. Showdown in Little Tokyo is a 1991 buddy cop action film starring the villain from Rocky IV, the star of The Crow, ripped to the max, Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat films, and Wayne's girlfriend from Wayne's World. The story starts with LAPD officer Chris Kenner, played by Ivan Drago, an American who was raised in Japan, who gets partnered with Johnny Murata, who is Japanese American. Kenner hates American culture, while Murata doesn't care for Japanese culture much, but both enjoy martial arts, which both are masters in. Kenner's family was also killed when he was a child by Yakuza. While the pair were interrogating a member of the Iron Claw Yakuza, who kills himself by breaking his own neck mid-interrogation, the pair embarks on a quest to take down the Yakuza in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, the leader of the Iron Claw takes over a popular nightclub by crushing its owner in a car compactor. One of the girls of the club is revealed to be a traitor, so she's questioned about her loyalty and offers her body up to the Yakuza leader to get out of it. So he drugs her, strips her, fondles her from behind, and then decapitates her. She ends up in the coroner's office, and the coroner deduces that she would have died from the drugs anyways. But it sparks the interest of the buddy cop duo, and they go to the club to look into her murder. They meet a good friend of the dead girl, but before they get much out of her, they meet the new owner / Yakuza boss, who Kenner recognizes as the man who killed his parents. Kenner pulls a gun on the boss, but Murata diffuses the situation. Later that night, the boss essays nightclub girl and holds her hostage while vowing to kill Kenner. The duo set out to the Yakuza boss's house and save her. After saving her, they then get captured, stripped topless, and tortured, but they manage to escape. So they prepare to assault the Yakuza drug-based brewery and rescue the girl again. Kenner fights the boss in a sword duel in the middle of a parade, and Kenner impales the boss onto a giant spinning firework display, which burns and eventually explodes the Yakuza boss. The crowd cheers while the pair escort the girl away to safety. And that's Showdown in Little Tokyo in a Namely 90s minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
All right. Now it's time for everyone's favorite monthly segment, Quotely 90s, from our friends at the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Oh, no, different song. Sorry.
Hey there, Brandon and Andrew. It's Lloyd and Dange from TIDRP, your backup brother horseman in this retro apocalypse.
Today we have a little quiz for you, a memory game, if you will, that Gaz has casually named Quotely 90s.
This week we're sending you a quote and see if you can guess its origins from some piece of pop culture in the 1990s.
Just remember, our worlds weren't as interconnected as we lived across the pond, and the internet still ran on gold.
We'll also, because we're copying you, do multiple readings and either do poor imitations of the character / person who said it, or poor imitations of whoever we feel like.
And if you're lucky, you'll hear me slip into my terribly offensive American accent.
Is that enough of a setup for you lads? Are you ready for Quotely 90s?
Name the movie, and if possible, the character that said this. Bonus points for the actor.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have ya? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine.
You fellas been doing a little boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You fellas have been doing a little bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Well, let me tell you, you fellas been doing a little bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
First of all, I think that's called robo-tripping.
Not back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's still a Dexter Mathor fan, isn't it?
So yes, but I don't know if they use the term. So Lloyd has been filling in for Gaz for the most of August over there at TIDRP. And he wanted to give us a tough Quotely because the first one or two we sent were a little bit more deeper cuts.
Lloyd of London, as I like to call him. Yeah. That joke's going to ensure that he hates me.
Yes. Hi, Lloyd. Thank you for listening to the show.
That was that was an insurance joke. Thank you.
Oh.
Lloyd's of London is this insurance company that will like insure your hands or your voice or whatever.
Right. Right.
It'll insure your accent. I have
That's
no
the
earthly
moneymaker.
clue what this is from.
I'm gonna say it sounded familiar to me.
It did.
Yeah. What was it? You boys been sipping on Grandpa's cough
Well,
medicine?
they said sucking back
Sucking
an
back.
old cough medicine, which
So it's got to be like a
doesn't sound distinctly American.
fair, but okay. So the last voice that they did was a Scottish accent, which made me think Train Spotting, but I don't know if they.
But then did they start with y'all?
Did they start with y'all? Do we need to listen to it again?
Let's listen to one.
Let's see if I can do that.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing,
You
have
fellas.
you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine.
By the way, good positioning.
Thank you.
You fellas.
You fellas.
This now sounds like a period piece, but probably American.
Yeah. Why is it? Because we've done Pulp Fiction already.
Yes.
But
Yes,
like
exactly.
that's making me think Pulp Fiction for some reason now. But no, I'm thinking like, is there like some coming of age movie or some like teenager movie like where they would teenage drama where they get caught?
There's
in
this
stealing
one where there's like
booze?
3 kids and there's like they're walking on some railroad tracks or something.
That's Stand By Me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
That's the 80s though.
dang it.
Good guess.
It's just like kind of has a feel.
Yeah, that's like in my head. That's what I'm imagining, but I know that's an 80s. I think it's an 80s because that's Jerry O'Connell, Will Wheaton,
Bill Wheaton.
and God, what's his name? Okay, Scottish Train Spotting, Stand By Me, which is an 80s. 80s movie. I'm pretty sure.
I got nothing.
He did want to stump us. You boys been okay. This is my long shot. Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you who.
I couldn't tell you who either.
That may be at one point.
Yes.
I doubt it.
Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich Bader.
Yes, he was in it.
I just watched Office Space the other night. F&A.
F&A, man.
Great character.
And then there's always the Drew Carey show. Okay. Shall we listen to it?
Let's do it.
Almost Famous.
This couldn't be more 90s if it was using a pager to give you the
What?
answer.
Almost Famous.
Been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Was said by Harland Williams as the state trooper in the 1994 comedy smash Dumb and Dumber.
This was and is my favorite Jim Carrey movie ever, and possibly, along with Ace Ventura, a real quote classic movie.
If you want to hear more
Damn it.
about the adventures of two dumb guys, then you can always listen to the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow. Only joking, but seriously. Dange will cover this in September.
Find it on your platform of choice at the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow. Now let's send it straight back over to those colourful suit wearing, muck cuts driving Brandon Christmas and Andrew Dunn.
Damn it.
Yep.
I just watched last night. I watched The Truman Show for the first time.
Oh, that's a good one.
Really? Not that funny. Hard to follow. Didn't like it.
What?
Didn't like it at all.
The Truman Show, that's the one where he's living in...
Yeah, I like Jim Carrey's shtick. This wasn't... It wasn't funny to me. I didn't like it.
I think that's one of his best dramatic roles. Well, then I will also have another controversial opinion. I don't like Dumb and Dumber. I don't. It's not.
Yeah, it's a little bit like gratuitous and obnoxious.
It's cringe humor.
Like Jim Carrey is obnoxious, but it's just too much.
Sorry, Dange. But yeah, it's.
It was stupid when the dog put the mask on. One of my favorite lines ever that you've said.
It was though. Okay. And I like Jim Carrey. I like The Truman Show. It blew my mind as a kid. To be fair, I haven't gone back and watched it since then, so maybe it's not as
the thing that annoyed me was like the impracticality of the supposed set. But then my wife Kayla had an interesting point, which was like, like Harry Potter's not real, but people still like it. You know what I mean? But what I do love truly is, and I know I've talked about it before, is that limited series Jury Duty, where they basically replicated the Truman Show using actors, but in a real life setting, is brilliant. Like they actually pulled it off.
Huh.
They pull off the Truman Show with a real person. Now, granted, they don't not from birth or whatever.
Right.
There's a lot of ethical problems with all that crap too.
Absolutely, there is.
Anyway,
and it's explored somewhat for a 90s film. It's explored. Okay. Well, according to my timer, we've at least hit the 30-minute mark. So,
I think we're at close to 40.
Yeah, I mean, I did have this really fun BuzzFeed quiz.
All right, how long does it take?
Expendables is coming out.
All right, fine, we can do it.
I mean, it might be a little long.
We'll just do it. It's a little long. Let's just do it.
Okay.
This is entitled, "Can you guess the 90s action movie by these emojis?"
Oh, wait, first, sorry. I need to say thank you, Lloyd, for doing that. And thank you, Dange. It was fun hearing Lloyd getting competitive over on the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow over all the quotes that we sent during his fill-in August for Gaz. And if you like your retro with an equal helping of 80s to wash down the 90s, check out the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow on your platform of choice and follow up with those wascally wabbits on this September's episode featuring Dumb and Dumber, which if you like it, good on you, because my opinion is invalid. You'll get to catch us delivering quality 90s to Gaz and Dange this week, and it's usually relevant to our next episode. Andrew's had time to look over the quiz. Do you want to do it still?
Yeah,
or we could shelve it.
Well, we'll go quick on it, though.
Okay.
We can go quick. So anyway, let me re-say it. It's called, "Can you guess the 90s action movie by these emojis?" So many explosion emojis. I'll start. The first one is a bomb, followed by a bus, followed by a timer. I think that's going to be the movie Speed.
I will agree. That is definitely the movie Speed, which it did not correctly take on my end. How about yours?
How is that not Speed?
That is a great question.
Or is it Speed 2?
No, Speed 2 is on a boat. We got it right. I don't know why it's wrong. What?
Okay. Let's try the next one.
The next one is the Statue of Liberty, a comet, a satellite dish, a siren light, a romantic relationship between a guy and a girl, a rocket ship, a fire emoji, a blacked out moon, a new moon emoji, an explosion emoji, and the American flag.
This is Armageddon, right?
This is definitely Armageddon.
Armadillo? This quiz sucks.
I can't spell it correctly. Anyways,
it doesn't accept the answers.
What the heck?
Oh, with this 2 out of, we're good, doing good. Next one is a white dude, a police officer, sunglasses, a rose, a motorcycle, a woman giving the X sign with her arms, a fire emoji, and a thumbs up.
I actually don't know this one. Is this Batman and Robin? Or no, what's the other one? Yeah. Batman and Robin. The one with Uma Thurman.
Is that what she was in?
Yes.
Let's go with it because I have no idea otherwise.
I wish they would give us the actual answers.
It's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Okay, yeah.
That one, that's fair. I don't know the woman going like that.
Oh, this next one's long.
It's an airplane taking off, a mom and daughter, a gun, a down arrow, a man looking stern, a call, a telephone, a U.S. flag, a airplane in flight, a no walking sign, waves, and a family back together. I'm gonna go with Air Force One.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go with Die Hard too, but I think you're right.
The daughter is not in.
It's Air Force One. Great movie.
Are you actually getting correct?
No.
Okay.
The next one is an ambulance, a delivery truck, some money, a guy with a hat, coffee cup, a 100, a bank, a gun, a police car, a broken heart, and an airplane.
I, again, don't know this one.
It's obviously a heist movie.
Okay. Is this... I want to say Die Hard 3, but that's not.
Bank. What's the famous 90s bank robbery movie?
Die Hard 3. Die Harder with a Vengeance.
I don't know it.
Yeah, I don't know it either. Skip. I give up. It is
Heat.
Heat. Yeah, we wouldn't have got that one. Next up, we got a world, a North American side of the globe, a cityscape at night, a firework, a fire emoji, an alien emoji, a black man, a spectacles, a white man, American flag, poison, and a shooting star. That's
is
that's
this Independence Day?
That is absolutely Independence Day.
Can't spell. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
They put a space in Air Force One. Okay. I figured Air Force was one word.
We have an X for eyes emoji, a scale of justice, some chains, a track, running, yelling, a stream, a hospital, a four-leaf clover, running, a train, a hospital, a helicopter, and two silhouettes.
And
running's in here twice. Is this Forrest Gump? It's not.
I don't think he's in that. Yeah. Okay. Dead.
A Few
Scales.
Good Men.
Ooh.
Not an action movie.
Not an action movie.
Dang it.
There's a subway. Oh, this is Mission Impossible.
Okay.
It's The Fugitive.
The
hospital.
Oh, he goes to the hospital twice.
But the
Richard
helicopter.
Kimball.
But the helicopter.
What the helicopter?
I think
Tommy Lee Jones is in the helicopter.
I guess it would have been a train instead of a subway car.
But also, like, at the end, it's in like, the H is a hotel.
Oh, I thought that's hospital, though. Oh, no, the plus would be, yeah, okay.
Right.
Fair.
I didn't kill my wife.
Next up, we have a what was that, biohazard symbol?
Biohazard, yeah.
A Aryan-looking male, chains, a mountain with fog around it, a red car followed by a police car, a rocket ship, the Roman Colosseum, a gust of wind, an explosion, a church, and then a film reel.
It's like 28 Days Later or something.
I'm going to say it's Fight Club.
Oh, okay.
It's The Rock. What?
Oh, shit.
What?
All right, the next one is a guy with a hard hat, a coffin, a helicopter, a deserted island, a turtle, a blue car,
Footprints?
an alligator,
Oh.
footprints, a frog, a dragon, and a bird.
Where'd you get? Oh, that's a dragon head. The alligator's a dragon head.
Is this Jurassic Park?
Ooh.
Yeah, because the worker dies at the beginning, and then they fly to the island on a helicopter. There's an island, there's a car, dinosaur's foot. They walk back, and then, okay, I'm going Jurassic Park.
Okay, I'm going to guess whatever the John Woo movie was that he did in the 90s.
Boom, Jurassic Park.
God
Horrible string of emojis. Boom.
Yeah.
I think we got like...
We think we missed 2?
Yeah, we missed 2.
We missed The Fugitive, and we missed Heat.
2 out of... We got 7 out of 9.
Nice.
Not bad.
Not bad.
This quiz is garbage.
That was terrible. I thought it would be fun. That is my full statement on that.
Someone's comment from Shania W3 6 years ago. This was so stupid. Anyway, let's wrap.
All right. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Join us next week for a deep dive episode that Andrew is going to tell us about right now. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s with a 90s, or find our personal accounts, which don't exist anymore because we don't have Twitter. And tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with 90s. And finally, you can contact us through our website, Namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Emoji, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartGood Pods, and wherever you get podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time. Are you going to do a little flight sim?
No.